Meanwhile, in Mosul, the bloody battle wages on. Pete Hegseth is with us. He's the author of In the Arena. That's an arena that he has been in, I believe. All right, my question to you is this. What's the end game in Mosul and other parts of Iraq? Is it just bloody fighting for years to come?
That's the flawed part of this entire interaction, is there is no clear end game. Mosul is a perfect crystallization of that. You've got the Iranian-backed Iraqi government, you've got Sunni tribes there, you've got the Kurdish Peshmerga forces, which are the best fighters, and then you've got the Turks up there, all purportedly fighting ISIS, and they're going to push them out. But then what do we do afterwards? We don't know, and it's a great microcosm of the entire country, because the Sunnis in the West are never going to trust the Iranian-backed Baghdad government. The Kurds want their own country. The Turks don't trust the Kurds, and we don't have a power-sharing agreement. So I think you're going to see a fracturing, Stu. I really do. You just won't find a policymaker willing to talk about that.
Exactly. I mean, here we are, 15 days away from the election, and the Mideast is literally falling apart in extraordinary violence, and it is not part of this campaign, and we don't know where we're going, and we essentially have been pushed out of the Middle East, and nobody is saying beans about it. I think it's just terrible.
Because what are they going to say about it? Well, what's Hillary Clinton going to say? I mean, she's an extension of the failed Barack Obama foreign policy. We retreated, and we created this chaos. So she's going to hope and wait and see what happens through Election Day, and then after that have to pick up the pieces of this failed strategy with no clear end state. We haven't even mentioned Syria.
I mean, that's even worse than Iraq. How do you feel about this? You're a veteran. I don't know whether you were in Iraq or in Mosul. I don't know where you were. But you were. Well, how do you feel about this?
Not in Mosul, but I was just south. Yeah, no, dealing with the ISIS takeover of Iraq was a very troubling thing for me and an entire generation of guys who gave so much to capture it. And then to watch a political leader, our commander-in-chief, abandon it and then effectively give it away to ISIS while he called them the JV team, it's an immoral affront. The legacy of our wars matter. And in this case, now we're watching him try to put it back together, but he's never been serious about it. It's been a slow trickle of additional troops. Now we have 6,000 there, which is exactly the amount, Stuart, ironically, that our commander said we should keep as a residual force so that we don't allow the country to fall to ISIS. So there's a lot, I mean, you have to deal with ISIS, but this is a product of our own making, unfortunately, because we refuse to secure the peace.
Now that I've got you all fired up, I want to ask another one. The outrage story of the day. In California, they're forcing troops to give back bonuses. It's kind of a military clawback. They gave them the bonus 10 years ago to go fight in Afghanistan and Iraq. Now they want the money back. My question is this. This shows to me they don't like the military. They really have no time for them. And if there was fraud in the food stamp program, do you think they'd ask people to give back that food stamp money by... No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
No, they wouldn't. And with all the billions that we waste in our government, what we've got to do is we've got to look to the California National Guard payments that were made, bonuses given legitimately 10 years ago, to rip it back from troops that are now out of service. This is an outrage, and if it isn't fixed, it shows you how dysfunctional Washington truly is. The Pentagon bureaucracy is broken, and they decided, due to an audit, to technically take back some of these bonuses. But these are bonuses that the soldiers legitimately got. They said, sure, I'll sign up for 3 more years. 6 more years in a time of war, and we'll thank you for the $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 bonus that they earned. And now that we realize some mistakes were made with that 10 years ago, we're going to punish that individual soldier, that individual troop, and say you're going to give that money back? It's maddening.
I think you and I are on the same page. I'm tired of seeing our wonderful institutions trashed by the... I just hate it. But Hegseth, you've calmed me down a little bit at least, and we appreciate that. And I like your book, by the way, In the Arena, Mr. Hegseth.
Thank you, sir.